We've also been speaking with party leaders and senior elected officials in the days leading up to the official launch of the campaign, a little bit away from the glare and the spotlight of the day one launch, a chance to spend a little time with them and find out what they think the campaign is going to be about and what their message is for the voters. Carla Qualtrough is the Minister of Public Works and Government Procurement and the Liberal candidate for re-election in the Vancouver area riding of Delta. Here's my conversation with her about the choices facing voters in this election and the challenges facing a government campaigning to win a second term. Minister Qualtrough, first of all, good to see you again. Thanks for coming to talk to me as we get set to head into the election campaign. And Canadians will have on offer a number of different choices before them at the ballot box. What do you think is the fundamental choice they're facing in this election?
Well, I've really come to appreciate how important it is to Canadians to have a say in how we move forward as a country. And I think what's on offer and what the choice is for Canadians during this election is a choice to keep moving forward with the momentum we've built over the past 4 years, focusing on getting the economy back on track, investing in our people and in our infrastructure, and a choice to go backwards. And I fundamentally believe that nothing has changed about the way Conservatives want to do business.
And so when you say or go backwards, what do you mean by go backwards? What does backwards look like to you?
Thanks for asking. I think, to me, I ran in 2015 because it concerned me that government was cutting services to people who needed it the most, that government policies weren't reflecting my values or my Canada, and I'm worried we'd go back there, that we'd go back to a situation where the governing party didn't include everyone in their decision making.
Why do you think you deserve re-election?
I think we
Not just you, but as a party.
I understand.
As a party.
Yes, I understand. I think we've done a really good job at governing. I think we've delivered on the vast majority of the things we said we were going to do. I think we've put the economy back on track. I think we have put a marker down saying to Canadians that the environment matters to us and that we can get our economy, going on all cylinders and still really deeply protect the environment. And I think that that's important to Canadians.
So given you have unfinished business, you think you've got a pretty good record so far. Tell me what you think when you look at all of the latest polling shows that the Liberals and Conservatives seem to be running just about neck and neck in popular support. What do you think that says? What does that say to you about the level of satisfaction in your government's record so far if the polls are that tight?
I think it says that Canadians are still waiting to see what we're going to have on offer for the next 4 years. I think they're satisfied with what we've done. A lot of them are really excited about what's coming next. And I just think it's a testament to the fact that they know something big is going to be put on offer by parties, and they want to see what that is before making their final decisions.
What's the something big that could come from Liberals?
I suspect, although of course that's yet to be publicly
fleshed out in the campaign,
yeah, that you're going to see us double down on our commitment to the environment, us double down on our commitment to Canadian families, to seniors, to human rights, and both at home and internationally, and an ongoing commitment to Indigenous reconciliation, the things we've been talking about for 4 years.
How big do you think the climate's going to be in this election?
I think it's going to be a pivotal issue for
You surprised
Canadians.
to see where it is? I mean, in terms of, it has featured in a number of different election campaigns in the time that I've been covering election campaigns, which is a lot of them, but I've never quite heard the discussion around the significance and importance of it as I'm hearing in this election campaign.
It doesn't surprise me at all, although I come from a riding where, you've got the biggest port in the country and you've got the Fraser River estuary constantly kind of having to figure out their places in our priorities. And it has to be a priority for Canadians. I don't accept that it wouldn't be.
What about, let's talk about that then. The Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion is underway. The construction's underway. Your government obviously supports that. It's a big issue in British Columbia. How concerned are you that this issue now being back in the news with more court challenges and so on could hurt your party's chances in British Columbia?
Well, I can tell you in my riding, my constituents are overwhelmingly satisfied with how we've addressed this issue, both in terms of going back to the table and revisiting the concerns raised by the federal court and putting the amount of rigor we've put into our Oceans Protection Plan and the environmental mitigation efforts and just everything that we've put into the OPP.
So you're confident that, because we may hear a lot about this during the campaign, you're confident that that's not the kind of thing that puts some seats, perhaps not yours, but perhaps other seats in British Columbia at risk?
Well, I wouldn't speculate that far, to tell you the truth, but what I can tell you in Delta, the riding I represent, this will be an issue of concern for people, but people are talking to me at the doors about housing affordability, and they're talking to me about the environment and climate change and those kind of concerns. TMX is not the #1 issue in my riding. It's definitely affordability.
Does the SNC-Lavalin story ever come up? You know, we've seen the report during the summer months from the ethics commissioner that the Prime Minister broke the ethics law. His personal popularity numbers have dropped kind of in the wake of that and are still largely in most polls more negative than positive. Do you hear about that, and how concerned are you about that being an issue at the door?
People want to know what I think about it all the time, and I continually reassure them that I remain absolutely confident in the Prime Minister, that we have a gender-balanced, highly effective group of leaders within cabinet, none of whom are wallflowers. I can assure you that none of us sit back and watch things happen without voicing our opinions on a regular basis. And my constituents are satisfied that I have made good, sound, fair decisions and represented them well, and I would not sit by if I thought that anything untoward had been happening.
Okay. Your party has been calling out the Conservatives on social issues and pulling out some old videos of Andrew Scheer on gay marriage and on concerns about whether or not he would reopen the abortion debate. He's said publicly that he will not reopen the abortion debate, that he supports the law that allows gay marriage, but he's not offering his personal opinion. Is that important to know what Andrew Scheer thinks about gay marriage, other than the fact that he says he's prepared to uphold the law?
Well, okay, so let me put my bias out there. I'm a human rights lawyer. Okay. So I think it's really important to know where people and individuals and leaders stand on human rights issues like this. This is a fundamental matter of human rights to me and to many people, most people across this country. And so for a leader to basically send the message that a certain group of our population is to be tolerated because that's the law, I don't think that's enough. I think Canadians deserve a full commitment to everyone's equal rights in this country.
At which levels? I'm going. If I go back and look at some of the research when the Civil Marriage Act passed in 2005, there were 32 Liberals who voted against it as well at the time, 93 Conservatives. So people's views, I guess, have evolved since then. But there are, I know today, there are still in the Conservative caucus and in the Liberal caucus individuals who are opposed to gay marriage but would uphold the law.
Right.
So again, it's back to that. What's the significance of the personal opinion if the guarantee is that they'll uphold the law?
I still think it's significant. I think if you said to me that this particular person didn't believe in the rights of people with disabilities, but they'll begrudgingly uphold the law, that matters to me. It matters to me that we don't see people equally, that we don't think everybody has the same rights, the same values. I don't know, it matters. It matters in a leader.
Will this be an issue in the campaign, do you think? Is this part of the Liberal strategy, is to talk about concerns you believe Canadians should have if a Conservative government is elected?
Well, I think so. I think Canadians really need to know the choices that are in front of them. And if you are choosing between a leader who values diversity and inclusion and supports equality versus a leader who doesn't seem to, I think that's important to know. And I think Canadians have to go into this election knowing that that kind of underlying Canadian value is at stake. Let's
finish on this. What's the, and it's a bit of a personal note, what's it like for you? So you were elected in the last election, so this is a re-election campaign for you. How differently do you approach it?
Well, of course, you don't know what you don't know. When I went into the last election, I was excited, I was keen, I thought I could make a real difference in my community, and I think I've proven that I can. I'm going into this election knowing what's at stake a little more, knowing how much I've loved being a member of Parliament, how much I've enjoyed helping govern our country. And so for me, it's deeply personal to get to keep doing the good work we've been doing and just to keep doing my job and working for my constituents and helping people. It's become very personal to me.
All right, Carla Qualtrough, always appreciate your time. Thanks again today.
Thank you very much, Peter, for having me.